AskReddit by deleted. Everybody hates me until they need me. What professions are examples of this? Lawyers and mechanics. You want to have a good one of each, but you never want to have to call either of them. Finding a good mechanic will 99% of the time save you the most money out of most of these answers. Finding one that's skilled, but doesn't rip you off is a fucking godsend. I didn't realize this until I married someone whose father is a mechanic. The amount of bullshit I no longer deal with is unbelievable. If you find a good mechanic, don't piss them off nickel and diming them. When I was a janitor, I got a lot of hate for knocking out my 8-hour day in 4 individual hour-long chunks of effort. I was always available for spills and got extra work done every day, but spent another 4 hours basically chilling, and management not once got on my case. The other employees despised this until a customer's colostomy bag somehow ruptured in the bathroom. From that day forward, none of them gave a fuck if I was just hanging out on my phone. Proper time management. If everything is in order, you are on call. Cleaning is a form of maintenance, and maintenance needs to be on a schedule to get it all done. Salute to you. I appreciate janitors. The US Coast Guard for fishermen and boaters. Usually there's a pretty good working relationship between them, but some hate the Coast Guard for the various inspections they do. But the USCG is also the ones who will come out there in a storm to rescue them. Today I learned people hate the Coast Guard. Except people hate me when they need me, too. Its support desk has to be rough. On the one hand, they get the know-nothings who are like hi car and I send ML to this, postal, ADD res, and, on the other hand, they get already annoyed jerks who get pissed off when the support person goes through the standard questions. I already tried rebooting. What did you think I tried first? ? Plastic surgeons. My uncle is a plastic surgeon and he does only reconstructive stuff, fixing burn victims' faces and stuff like that. But when people ask him what kind of doctor he is and he says plastic surgeon, they usually kinda scoff. It is often forgotten, but plastic cosmetic surgery got a big start in the aftermath of WWI. There were plenty of vets with horrible disfigurements that were met with horror and revulsion returning to civilian life. The operations they took to repair or replace lost jaws, eyes, bones, etc. were attempts to let these vets able to enjoy some normalcy in society. Lawyer here. The expectation that because you are a lawyer you know everything about every law everywhere. In reality, most lawyers are highly specialized. I thought you guys all just put on a nice suit, sat back in your chair and answered any question with "it depends." Not the clown. Yep, you get everything in order and pretty much humming along. They say, "What are we paying you for if you are just sitting there?" Shit goes haywire. They say, "What are we paying you for if you can't keep the stuff from breaking?" Dentists for sure. I'm a dentist for kids. I am hated by parents and children. I had only a few fillings done as a child, and it was fine. But I didn't realize how much fear and anxiety was in the world for dentists. I wears you down after a while, and a lot of dentists get burned out because no one appreciates you and how hard of a job it is. You kind of have to give no fucks at a certain point because people need you, but then you have to hear shit like, "Hey, good thing I'm getting this filling today, so you can make your boat payment," when in actuality, you are getting paid $182 for that filling on a child while the mother is crying in the corner in worry, which barely pays the overhead of running a practice, while you have $500,000 in student loans. You do a good job, and then the parent says, "Let's get out of this horrible place." Adults say to me, "I hate the dentist." And I say, "Well, I am a pretty nice person." And then they say, "Oh, not you. Just I hate everything you do." Double quote. The world is less tolerant of discomfort, and I think dentists need to use more sedation for treatment. But then people won't want to pay $500 for it, so they will still hate us. All the trades guys. They're so expensive. Until that plumber shows up at 2 AM to prevent the sewage backup. Or the electrician that fixes an overloaded breaker panel, preventing a fire. Or the carpenter who builds a room for your toddler so you can get some sleep and maybe some sexy time. Definitely tradesman. The plumber who came to my house at midnight on Christmas Eve to stop the waterfall of water gushing into my basement was worth every one of those several $100s I paid him. Accounting. Auditors. Lawyer is going to be the most common answer to this question by far, but I suppose any licensed service provider could fall into this category, given the right context. Plumbers are another good example. Everyone thinks they're scum and crooks until the washing machine breaks down. Electricians, contractors, locksmiths, etc. They all fit this mold. Unless you work with them daily, you are not going to be seeing them very often. And you're only seeing them when there's a problem, so you're primed to be upset by the time they even show up. Psychologically, you associate the plumbing issue with the plumber, when ironically, the plumber is there to fix it. Everyone wants to shoot the messenger. IT people and network security professionals are another classic example of this effect. Deleted. Lineman. Been called a lazy overpaid drug addict by old men I don't even know. God forbid we go grab lunch or a coffee. As a low voltage electrician, you should know we look up to you guys. Because you're high up on poles. High up in the air. So we gotta look up to see you. Keep it up. Up in the air. On the pole. Thanks. Germany. Brit here. The wars were a bit rude NGL, but damn if they don't know their engineering. Any job requiring break-fix support. Basically when everything works it's good, it's supposed to work, and then when something goes wrong that's out of your control it's what did you do, when we did absolutely nothing to cause the problem, haha. I scrolled a long time and didn't find it. Fast food workers. They're the butt of every demeaning comment about a lack of achievement or the reason why minimum wage shouldn't be raised, blah blah blah. But those people get real quiet once they're ordering their Big Mac. It wasn't fast food, but was still a cashier job. Had a woman point at me and tell her kid that if he didn't go to college, he'd end up like me working at a dead-end job. I was 17 and in high school, hadn't even had the chance to go to college yet. Tow truck drivers. I don't hate tow truck drivers, I hate exploitative and predatory towing companies. The guy's actually trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty. Then you have to fight tooth and nail in order to use your extended warranty. Lawyers lol. Edit, might delete this comment in a bit, not used to getting 100 notifications a minute lol. Appreciate the engagement though. Lawyer here, they hate me until they need me and also hate me during and after. Witches seem to have a lot of people talk trash about them, but when the village monster shows up. When the monster shows up, they write songs about us. People are very quick to look down on people who work retail or in the food industry. People openly disrespect sanitary workers and even USPS and EMV workers, but our society couldn't function without any of them. Honestly though, USPS and EMV workers are almost always rude, and because the US loves to make simple things complicated, all the stupid rules at both the places are almost physically painful, and if I had to deal with it for 40 hours a week I would probably be rude too. I was a rape crisis worker for a while. Every time I mentioned my job it made people very uncomfortable. No one wanted to talk about my job or anything, but when I showed up at all hours to the call, everyone there was so happy to see me. Strange experience. Thank you for everything you do. I had the SART come to the urgent care center at 3 AM for me. They were also kind. Child protection case worker. People generally hate us and vilify us, but man, when you need us you need us. Most people genuinely do not understand the work that we do. I work in Australia, and I have been chased out of houses with knives, punched, had abuse hurled at us, had my kids threatened, the whole shebang, but we never stopped trying to keep kids safe. Can I just say, as an abuse survivor, thank you so much for what you do. Anyone trying to protect kids is doing something so important. Truck drivers. Everyone is either scared or annoyed at us, but good luck buying anything without truckers. Never been scared of driving alongside professional drivers in any size vehicle, but if your speed is governed by tech and or policy, don't drive side by side, let us go by. Proctologist. I just had my colon scoped. Definitely a necessary evil. Essential services during COVID. Bunch of derps calling us heroes, now back to shitting on us. As someone who lives in the UK, that's the case here. The same nurses who were applauded, quite literally, during the pandemic are now being called for all sorts for daring to strike for better pay and conditions. I've been scrolling forever and haven't seen this yet. Scientific research. During downtime, we routinely get made fun of for doing pointless things like dropping balls down a waterfall or making people listen to sounds. Our staffing is small and we're chronically underfunded, which only gets made worse when some guy in a basement thinks he knows more about climate change than someone with a PhD and politicians claim vaccines cause autism. But then a catastrophe happens and suddenly everyone looks to us to churn out answers at 300% speed. Lawyers. Criminal defense attorneys. Thanatologist, embalmers, any funeral workers really. Everyone likes to forget we exist, until they have a dead grandma on the floor and no idea what to do. Then I show up with my little cot, and a pile of answers. People literally say you when I tell them my profession. One unexpected death later, and they are thanking me for my service. People act like all funeral directors morticians are crooks. Some are. And, unless you're in the middle of nowhere, and there's only one funeral home in 100 miles, you don't have to give the upselling shitheel your money. Stand up and walk out. Call their competitor and describe your experience. Watch them get you top-notch service. We'll go fetch grams for you, no charge. People like that deserve to be run out of business. Also, don't feel awkward about price shopping. It's really common, and a good idea. Insurance or tax people. Realtors. Everyone hates them until they dig up some serious dirt on a property and help you dodge a bullet. The caveat is the barrier to entry to become a realtor is way too low. Bad realtors are on every corner and can cost you big, but a good realtor is worth their weight in gold. Because of the low barrier to entry, and the lack of a mechanism to identify the good ones, most people encounter the bad ones. Most people end up with realtors who pocket their commission without doing anything.